Hello and welcome to the Stock Planner channel. If you're going to buy this company, it looks like an old company. You don't want to pay premium price for it. What is a good price for it? Is it making some money? What's its outlook for the next 5 years? Are the revenues growing? Are profits shrinking? Is this a good value for your money? Is it an industry that's growing or shrinking? This looks like a shrinking industry. In fact, I don't even see no workers here. All these questions concerns the fundamentals of a company, and a fundamentals analyst or doing some fundamental analysis concerns the workings of a company. Some people base their whole investing strategy on the fundamentals, and they are important. Other type investors are concerned about the movement, the price movement of a particular company, and not so much interested in the fundamentals. They're interested in volume, when two lines cross over, some indicators, although they might still be interested in when the earnings report occurs or some other news. A technical analysis or analyst is only interested in the stock market technicals. And today I'd like to discuss the difference between the two and why they're both important, and why that one is not better than the other, at least in my estimation, and why, as a swing trader, I use both. Even though most swings are very short-term in nature, I still want to know and have some knowledge about the overall industry, business of the stock that I'm trading. In other words, swing traders are primarily concerned with technicals, but it's very important to know what you're trading. Know what you're trading. Anyway, that's what we're going to discuss today. I hope you stay with us. Let's get started. The point of this slide is that there's all kinds of traders. There's ones that focus on the price movements, and that's what a swing trader does primarily, but really it's nice to know what you're trading. And of course, they're going to trade more instruments, and you have to look at your big picture and look at the portfolio. You might be investing inherited money and may not have a clue. You might be a value investor, which is looking strictly at the fundamentals and looking at the balance sheet. You might be $1 million or a millionaire investor. I spelled millionaire because I'm not a millionaire. Then I changed it to big money. I learned a little lesson here. But the point is, you have to do and learn a lot of things, but you don't have to be an expert in any one. By the way, the true definition of a functional analyst is one that specializes in a particular technology or industry or line. In other words, you could be an expert on drugs or healthcare, technology or AI or green energy. It's hard for the typical investor, small investor, especially a beginning investor, to be expert at any all of these things, but you don't have to be. You have to be just good enough. And you can make some mistakes, and most of us don't have that big money. So this little talk is fundamental analysis or technical analysis, which is better for swing trading. Fundamental analysis, I said in my introduction, was knowing about the company, and technical analysis is looking at price action, technology, depending on the charts, and which is better for swing trading. And swing trading is primarily short-term trading, 3 to 18 days. And most swing traders are heavily rely on the charts, but it is important to know what it is you're trading. And it is important, I think, to trade from a watch list of stock that you know a little bit about and know and love. Whether you do fundamental analysis or technical analysis, you need a repeatable system. And both systems try to find cheap stock. When you do fundamental analysis or value investing, you try to find stocks that are undervalued or unrecognized and cheap. And when you do technical analysis, try to find stocks that have been beat down and about to turn to come back up. Now, I don't want to beat this horse to death. Economic factors for the fundamental analysis and price action for the technical analysis. And I'm just going to give some angles. A lot of technical analysis, and when you do technical analysis, or the folks that just rely heavily on that, they feel that all these factors are known and are baked into the price, so they don't really need to look at it. I don't adhere to that fact. I think you need to know what's happening with the company and trade from a smaller list of stocks that you know and love. And I'll give, like I said, some examples. Any traders, you start with stocks that you know, whether you're fundamental or technical. You come up with a repeatable system. In the case of swing trading, the system included some indicators, RSI, MACD, stochastic RSI, many other ones. And then it ends up with a good risk reward where you win more money than you lose. That's the key, whether you believe in fundamental analysis or technical analysis. And then it's just a little roadmap where you start with an idea. IBM's going to go up. You analyze it, you learn your strategy, you look at the indicators, you test it and back test it. You apply the indicators to the current market today. You find your longs and shorts, swings, you make your trade, put your stop losses in, and then you reevaluate the situation to see whether you win or lose. A buy and hold would use fundamental analysis, knowing about the company, and they'll try to choose stocks based on their knowledge of the company. So with trend trading, we'd like to know what the company is doing. They'll pick strong companies and follow the trend up. Now here it gets a little hairy because they'll do the same thing as trend trading. They'll try to pick good stocks and follow the trend, especially if the stock is being beat down and they like the stock and want to own it. When it starts swinging around, they'll take a chance at it because they don't mind, because they want to buy it. And if it goes down a little bit more, they don't really care. But swing trading is relying on the chart mostly, but a little bit about, they want to pick strong companies you want to pick companies that do swing, and that usually is a strong company. You don't want to pick penny stocks because penny stocks can shoot up and shoot down like GameStop. Day trading, scalping, uses the chart and chart patterns, candlesticks, all kinds of voodoo, but you can use some of the same indicators that the swing trader uses in day trading. Scalping, it's all patterns. And then you could do like they do on Wall Street bets. You could follow the herd and hope for the best. All of these methods and types of traders are successful. Now there's a ton of videos out there that talk about fundamental analysis versus technical analysis. And there's lots of different YouTubers that present educational material concerning this. This one is from Trading 212, and they've got a ton of information about indicators and trading styles, and they've been doing it for a long time, and they do it well. I decided to not reinvent the wheel and used one of their slides. I could have talked with this without the slide, but I wanted to introduce their company, and I recommend you going out there and reviewing this video. They do a better job than I do because I'm more interested in actually doing it, the trading part of it, not necessarily the education part, because I believe that that you have to do that yourself. You have to get the education and do the work yourself. And the only way you're going to learn this is to yourself. No, I don't believe I can really teach it to you. And the fact that there's so many YouTube channels out there that do it well, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So, when you do a fundamental analysis looks at the quality of the company, and Warren Buffett, that's what he looks. The first thing he looks at to see if the company has its brand name like Nike or Coca-Cola, and then he tries to find companies that they are the only ones that doing that thing. And there's some loyal Coke drinkers, there's some loyal Pepsi drinkers, and each one of those has their customer base, very strong customer base built up over the world. And so does Nike, Adidas. They're all brand names that are easily recognized and have a loyal client base. A qualitative measure would be the management team, the CEO. Do they have a history of success? Warren Buffett learned very young how to do fundamental analysis and looking at the value of the company, and he's considered a value investor. He looks at things like the PE, price per share, book value, especially if it has assets. And if you bought the company on the cheap, you could sell those assets and still, have more money than what you paid. So just selling the assets are worth more than just the value of the company. A lot of people have made millions doing that. Anyway, when you do fundamental analysis, you look at the company as a whole, and whether they're profitable, whether they're cheap, and you try to buy it on the cheap. Here's a spreadsheet. You look at the cash flow. You make some estimates over the next 5 years, what they're going to produce, and you come up with an intrinsic value. An intrinsic value is the value of the company today based on some criteria, cash flow, the revenues, and you decide whether it's a good value or not. This is what a value investor does. This is from Sven Carlin. It's a spreadsheet. It's actually free. He provides it for you. He does some good analysis. This is one fellow you need to put on your watch list. This is Sven here. Another one that does value investing. It's a new channel. I think he's less than a year. 3 guys. One is an expert on fundamental analysis. This guy is a portfolio manager with a large portfolio and a little on the technical side. And this is a newcomer that kind of uses the glue keeps the glue together, and it kind of keeps it on a level where a lot of people understand it. And one thing I like about the channel is that they recognize that there's many different ways of doing fundamental analysis, and that the assumptions you make, this is Sven's again, some assumptions you make might be different from the ones that they do, and that is the art of it. And that's why you have to learn this yourself, because you have to become a practitioner and make good decisions on yourself. And your decision will be different than Mo or these other guys. Everything Money. New channel. He does some comparisons with other YouTubers out there. This guy's a millionaire, and it could be a little standoffish. I don't say he's arrogant, because I think he's practical. So you would enjoy that. Value investing. They have a set of rules. I think it's the 8 pillars of investing. And each time they make a recommendation of the stock, they go through those 8 pillars. Yeah, here he's doing some income and looking at the cash flow statements of the company and making some decisions. And I'm not an expert at this. I'm going to show you how I do it, but I just do it good enough fundamental analysis. This guy's been doing it for years, and he's an expert. In the first 2 or 3 times you watch his routine, you're going to say, oh, I can't do that. But if you just take the time, this is all not that hard. And I think they have a program that they sell, $30 a month or something like that, that'll do the same thing that he's presenting. Back to Sven again, has a little accent. His wife says that she can't do drugs analysis, not drugs. So he doesn't do drugs, but and he has a methodology as well. It's very clear, and I respect his videos very much. This one is 5 stocks to buy in 2021, and he analyzes these other 3 guys. And this is Jeremy from Financial Education. I think he has 2 or 3 channels out there. This is Dana Proke. I've been following these 2 guys for a while. I love Daniel because he analyzes in a clear, smooth, repeatable fashion, and he does some fringe stocks, what I call fringe stocks, he does the marijuana stocks, some gold stocks, Canadian stocks. I enjoy it. It's just another angle. And these are the tickers that those 3 guys, these 3 guys that have recommended in the past, and Sven goes over those stocks and says whether he agrees with them. And basically, he agrees with some of the assumptions and some of the not. This is the other guy, the Stock Watch. So these are all ideas that you could, if you want to do fundamental analysis, follow these guys for a little while. You'll learn a lot. And some of these people are very young fellows, and they're very knowledgeable, and they went to college for this stuff, and they're presenting it in a nice, easy to understand manner. I think everybody should learn to read an income statement. And this is from the Stock Watch, or have it from Yahoo, FinViz, Google. All this information is readily available out there. You just got to learn how to use it as a technical trader and a swing trader, sometimes I bypass this stuff. And the reason why I bypassed it is because I didn't know how to do it well. And now, the more I do it, the better I get. Just a reminder, swing trading is short term, 2 to 18 days. The reason why I say 2 days, you can, if you did it one day, you'd be a day trader. And then you're under the day trading rule, which says you have to have $25,000 in your account to do that. And so if you have $5,000, which I recommend is a good starting place, but you can start with less, but $5,000 gives you a chance to do about 6 or 8 swings at a time. And I use technical indicators, allows me to understand the price movement and predict these swings. So I'm looking at price action, basically. And I'm looking at it to predict movements of the market on a short-term basis. Here's another one from Trading 212, and it has to do with technical analysis, and you look at price action, as I just said, support, resistance, trends, and you use indicators. I use MACD, I use a zigzag indicator, and I'll show you in a minute, the stochastic RSI and the RSI. And I'm not going to explain how each of these work. I'm just going to show you how to use it, how I use it in my trading. So it's now time to show you what I do to learn about my stocks, which is basically good enough analysis. Because not everybody's an expert. Not everybody can be an expert like the guys I just showed you. But you have to do some. And here's what I do. This is FinViz. It's free. And the first thing I do before I do any kind of trading is see how the day before went. And I look at the 3 major indexes and also look at the RUD and see how things are running. So I try to get a feel of the market. And while it says technical feel, it's an overall feel on how, whether I make my decision based on fundamental analysis. If the market is going down and going down and going down, that's not the time to do any kind of buying. Okay, you have to should be waiting. So you need to get that feel. And it was just mixed. The market didn't change a whole lot from the beginning to the end. The big boys, Apple, Google, Amazon, Telsa, seem to be red. You want them to be green. Verizon, JP Morgan. Excuse me, that's not Verizon, that's Visa. Bank of America, PayPal. You look at certain sectors. Another way of telling which sectors did the best. And real estate, utilities, and healthcare did the best. And communication services, consumer central, did not do so hot. Basic materials, industrials. Technology generally did okay. This is not a whole lot of movement. And we've seen that the big boys didn't do so well. So I got a general feel of the market. I use FinViz for that. And here's the other way I use the ticker symbol. Johnson & Johnson. We had a couple red candles here. Is it a pullback? Maybe. The target price for Johnson & Johnson is 186. What's it trading at now? 169. That's some good indication if you believe the analysts. You can look at the PE and see that it's a profitable company. Value over here. That means it has assets, optional, shortable. The analysts are recommending it as a moderate buy. And you can look at the volume. Big company. Big, stable company. Other analysts report up or down on it. It's just recently had a downgrade from buy to neutral. The news. All these are things that you would look at if you were looking at the fundamentals of the company. There you go. Total revenue. Is it growing or not? Net income before taxes. It looks like it's going down a little bit. And you can look at the last 3 years here. So that's a lot to digest. So I took a little spreadsheet that I wrote and I scrape for those same things. And I put my criteria where I don't want to trade anything unless it is optional, shortable. I want to make sure the price is greater than 5. I don't want to trade penny stocks. And the PEs, all this stuff looks good. Debt to equity and some criteria here. This is a gram, the old gram number, whether it has value or not. And this is the new gram formula. It's similar to Philtown. And I guess I need to put Johnson & Johnson there. See how that works? And I'll do it again. Goes out in scripts. And it says to buy under 149. 169. And wait till it gets down in this area here. Again, that's good advice. I go to another tool called TipRanks. It helps me sort out the chaff a little bit. Currently at 169, as I said. That's what FinViz said. And it's a strong, they rated it a strong buy. The other one was a moderate buy. And it did say it's going to go to 192. And then you can look at, this is a free version too. You can, but they have a paid version. It's not very expensive. They're rating it as 7. That's quite nice. And it gives the analyst rating strong buy. I look at the hedge fund activity because I like to see some activity coming in, not going out. The news in the market, that's all good there. And positive fundamentals. This looks like a buy so far. It's going up. PE is positive. That's good. You want everything to go up here. And the news. I always like to see some news. You need something to propel it in that direction. So getting a picture of the fundamentals of the company, and you know a little bit about it. It is not what those other fellows are going to do that I showed you earlier. They are the experts. You need to learn from the experts. You need to come up with a system and a routine to know and analyze the fundamentals of a company. But you don't need to be an expert to get started, not with swing trading, because I believe swing trading relies about 70% on the technicals, which I'm going to talk to you about it now. This is TradingView, Johnson & Johnson. Each one of these little candles is a dollar a day. I have some indicators. Now we're getting technical, and we're looking at the price. I have some technical indicators, MACD, and I'm looking for green dots below the zero line. Right there's a zero line, and that's a single. Or above the zero line, and that's a single, and that would have been a loser. I like them a little deep. That's a single, and that would have been a winner. Stochastics, again, that's a single here. This would have been a winner. Or below and coming back around, that's a winner. This is stochastic RSI, and this is the RSI. MACD, zero lag MACD, stochastic RSI, and the RSI. Now, again, go out to the sites that I just recommended, and look for these indicators. These indicators, including the zigzag here, which plots perfectly the peaks and valleys, but it only does it because it doesn't plot. It's not plotting here. See, it doesn't know what it's doing, but it looks like it's going to go down. But if that thing shot up here, that line would continue. It waits. It waits until it's clearly what it's going to do, and to do that, it looks forward into the future. You can't look at the future. We're sitting here. We're trying to see if it's a buy or not. Anyway, TradingView, free indicators, all you want. Lots of people have built themselves and try them out. Thousands of them, all free. But you can do some fundamental analysis here as well, right online. I'll give you some indication. They're recommending as a buy for all your stocks. You can have a watch list, and you can scan for stocks with a stock screener, and you can also scan your watch list for some of these very singles here. So in other words, you can scan for the MACD. Not exactly the one I'm using, but they can scan and get a rough feel for what, and then look at them further. Good product. Looking at the technicals. In reality, all these types of traders would look at the charts, but a swing trader relies maybe 75 or 80% of the time on the charts, and a day trader and scalping, that's all they do is look at the charts all day long. Swing trader looks for a couple hours, some on the weekend. Trend trader does as well. And I believe there's no buy and hold guy that hasn't seen a chart either. Now, get out in line. There's a ton of people that talk about every one of these indicators. This guy here is very concise, very easy to understand. The videos are about 9 minutes. And he presents and back tests each one of them. And I'll just give away the news. He likes the MACD indicator the best. I have a video out on Fibonacci, how I use it. Please catch that. And I guess I'll eventually do one on the RSI and the stochastic RSI and the MACD as well, but not from the same perspective as he does. Yeah, he uses TradingView as well to do his back test. So you'll like his channel, Trading Rush. This is a young man, very intelligent. He's definitely a technical trader, and he has a lot of stuff out in line. Definitely uses the charts, and I believe after watching a few of his videos, you'll start understanding the way he trades. And I don't know how you say that. KSFWRP. Great young fellow. Very smart. There's his charts, and he talks about them all the time, and how to actually trade. Now let me just go over 1 or 2 or 3 charts. Going back to Johnson & Johnson, the job of a swing trader is to catch these swings. And you can't use the zigzag indicator because it's forward looking. Looks like that would be right there. But you can't use the zigzag. The zigzag can give you a little feel for it though. And I like to see it because it's very nice to show me the trend reversals. But if you're using indicators, this is the MACD, and that would have predicted very nicely. And I like to take the highs, and that would have predicted very nicely. These are too close to the zero line. You don't take those. And this one here is a downward, and that would have been a loser. If you just used it, that would have been a loser. Here's stochastics, and now we got a stochastics. Is it showing coming around to go up? RSI, when it goes below the 30 and comes back around, below the 30 and come back around, below the 30 and come back around. That's pointing up, and this one's pointing down at the moment. So once you got these indicators, you got a single, and you got to decide what, from a technical point of view, should you make a buy. Warren Buffett's Coca-Cola, RSI here, and you had it up. Look at this line, that's a trend. Is the trend still going to continue? Is the trend your friend? Stochastics RSI pointing down, and MACD is too close to the zero line. You can't use it. Is this coming back down? The zigzag looks like it still knows what it's doing. It's still going up that way. So you use the technical indicators to make decisions on your trade. So in conclusion, are you a technical trader trying to predict the swings of the market using the price action to determine your trade entries and exits? Or are you a technical trader looking at the balance sheets and the company internals to make a determination of whether to buy or sell? And I believe the answer is, by the way, Warren Buffett, that's what he looks at primarily. I don't know if he looks at a chart or not. I'm sure he knows what a chart is though. But he's looking at the internals. And I say, for a swing trader, it's nice to know a little bit about the company, a little bit about its fundamentals before you make a trade. In fact, I will make the statement that you really can't take trade recommendations off the internet without knowing something about the company. You really can't scan for a stock based on some technical and come up with a company that you think you want to buy that you never heard of and don't even know what business it's in. So I think you need to have a balance. Which kind of trader are you? Are you a technical trader, a fundamental trader, a functional analyst that specializes in a certain stock or technology? Look at the big picture. What kind of trader are you? And I think it's important to look at the big picture, even though I'm a swing trader and base most of my trades on technical analysis. Please like and subscribe. Do your own research. Learn this thing. And if you lose, don't blame me or the dog. Happy trading. Catch you in the flip.